Hey there, Vipony, it's Lady Heart here. Sorry that I haven't done any updates or thoughts and feelings episodes. I've been really sick, and I finally had a small glimmer of doing something last night, but I ended up messing up my hoof, and it seems like I might have to have surgery on it, and the recovery time for that surgery is 3 to 6 months. Well, 3 weeks to 6 months. So let's hope I don't have to have surgery and it will just go away. So this episode is Daring Don't, and the reason why I chose Daring Don't is because for some reason a lot of the other analysts are knocking it so badly that I just kind of wanted to be able to say how I felt about the episode and what I think is going on, and a little bit of my own analytic perspective. In Daring Don't, you have Rainbow Dash, who has been consistently a fan of the Daring Do books, and in fact we first see Rainbow Dash come across Fluttershy, who is teaching a pair of baby birds how to fly. Being overly zealous, overly excited over the new coming out of the Daring Do books. And I have to say, as a child of the Harry Potter series, I was very much like that. When a new book would come out, we would just be crazy about it. So I kind of get where Rainbow Dash was coming from. One of the good jokes of this episode actually happens in the first segment here, and that's where Rainbow Dash basically knocks herself silly, and the little baby chicks are flying around her head, and it's kind of cute and funny at the same time. As we go in deeper, we have Rainbow Dash, who is just like, oh, I'm gonna go burst into Twilight's house and be like, I'm all excited, are you excited? And to find out everyone's having a party without her, and she's just been so wrapped up in this whole book situation that she's essentially just kind of drowned out her friends. And when she realizes she's done that, she's like, okay, yeah, whatever. Twilight decides to burst Rainbow Dash's little fangirl moment by explaining, well, the book will be out for it's not, you say it's 3 months and 26 days, well, it's technically now 5 months and 26 days, so she tells her that the book is not coming out for an extra 2 months, and, well, Dashy doesn't like that. Makes this huge suggestion that they go and see A.K. Yearling, the writer of the Daring Do books. This is where kind of the story gets a little weird, and this is where I think everybody kind of made their own assumptions on how this was a bad episode. The pacing was fine, in my opinion. I was able to understand the story just fine, and it wasn't hard to believe that Twilight was able to find A.K. Yearling's residence. Well, here's another joke to the episode was the red in Indiana Jones, you have the red lines that go all over the map and everything. Well, in this you had the same thing, except we find out the red lines are written down by Pinkie Pie, which is just kind of Pinkie Pie-ish, and it's Pinkie. That's all we say. They come upon A.K. Yearling's house, and it's just total disaster, mess, shambles, and our main six are completely worried about the author because, well, of course, it looks like someone's ramshackled the house, tried to steal stuff, and it's just bad. While further inspecting the house, the main six come across A.K. Yearling, who is perfectly fine. Come on. Really? Well, soon, while Twilight is reprimanding Rainbow Dash for her over-enthusiasm, which we again see later in, the following episode, in Flight to the Finish, is Rainbow Dash being scolded by the game pony from Miss Harshwinny from the Equestria Games for not being professional. Well, this time just Rainbow's being a little overzealous. And during this time, 3 stallions apparently burst through one of the windows upstairs and go to attack A.K. Yearling. The main 6 run to the window to see what's going on, and wow. Yeah. A.K. Yearling is daring do. I think in most aspects of people who, or ponies who, like to read, we all expect or would like our favorite characters in book series to be real. Harry Potter, all of which. Needless to say, these 3 stallions work for a pony named Dr. Cavaleron. And if that's not a generic, just Dr. Cavalier, come on. He's Spanish. He's supposed to, look rugged and handsome and beautiful. Well, no. Anyways, the ring, whatever it was at first, gets stolen by Dr. Cavaleron, and he goes to sell it to Alizotto, which is this monkey cat thing that I have still yet to understand. Daring ends up going after Dr. Cavaleron after yelling at Rainbow Dash and the main 6 for wanting to be left alone, which probably should have just been what they did and just left it at that. I mean, it's daring do. She's been able to get out of bigger scrapes than this. In the debate of which they should go after Daring Do, Twilight and Rainbow Dash kind of have that moment where we all do when we go to convention. Say you go to a con and you're trying to prove the other person wrong. This is what we do. And this is an actual transcript from the series, so these are actual words from the series, the episode. Twilight Sparkle, you heard her. She says she works alone. Rainbow Dash, how can we just stand by and do nothing? You know what's at stake here. Alizotto has sought control of the Tenochtitlan Basin since Book 3. Twilight Sparkle, true, but in Book 4, she's defeated Alizotto and secured control of the Amulet of Atonement, dispelling the dark magic of the Quetzalcoatl Empress, and thus protecting the basin with the Radiant Shield of Razdan. Rainbow Dash, but the Radiant Shield of Razdan is vulnerable to the dark enchantment of the Rings of Scorchero. Twilight Sparkle, but are you forgetting that the rings were scattered to the 4 corners of Tenochtitlan, thus rendering the dark enchantment powerless? Rainbow Dash, only if you assume the rings have yet to be retrieved, and the ring Cavaleron just still isn't the last to completely restore the Dark Tower and its cruel hold on Tenochtitlan. Did you ever think of that? Okay, as we see here, I'm going to have to, at this point, say to some of the analysts that you didn't pay too close of attention to this episode, because this in itself is already explained, well, a few times. There's been an explanation, specifically one from Daring Do, that the valley that they live in is under threat of scorching heat. Now, a lot of the analysts have been like, well, if this has to do with the sun, then he can't do nothing anyway because, well, that's Princess Celestia's thing. Well, scorching heat doesn't mean the sun. You can still have scorching heat and not have any sun. It can still be hot out and the moon be up. So very much so, this has nothing to do with the lunar or the solar. This has to do with the weather, which there's no princess of the weather, so there's no no one can control that other than whoever at the time. Now, Alizoro is trying to control the weather, not the sun. Let me correct everybody. The weather, not the sun. I'm really sorry, Digibrony, and I'm really sorry, Tommy Oliver, and all those others who have just been like, rah, 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 rah. Okay, you're just founded with this whole idea with the episode being kind of weird to you, with the idea of, well, suddenly a fictional character is made real. Well, you've also made statements about the Celestia and how Aoizoto can't even, this shouldn't even be a point. It's not even a point, you guys. He's talking, yeah. I've already said what I've got to say at that situation. It's nothing. So the situation is here is the main six have to stop Aoizoto from making scorching heat in that valley. The valley. She specifically says the valley. Not all of Equestria. This is just Tenochtitlan. Has nothing to do with anybody else. So okay. Rainbow Dash goes off in a hurry to go and find her hero and has a mini freak out because now she's realized, wow, I'm about to go help my hero with saving, well, an entire, I don't know, this valley. When she comes across Daring Do, she ends up getting captured by Daring Do, and Daring Do unwillingly lets her follow her. So, Rainbow Dash and Daring Do end up coming across Dr. Caballeron's base camp, which everyone's eating a meal. Daring makes a really cool disguise out of mud and sticks and whatnot to look kind of like a purchaser pony or a peddler or something. And in this comes the big fight between Alizoro and Daring. Here is the best joke so far of all of the season, is the, quote, proposal joke that comes from Daring's mouth to Alizoro, which I have to say, to me, it's the best joke of all season. I haven't found a joke funnier yet. In fact, I'm probably going to make it a ringtone on my hoof phone. Probably. Needless to say, Daring gets captured. Rainbow ends up feeling terrible about herself. And Twilight does everything except slap Rainbow in the face saying, dude, you were awesome before. You're awesome now. Stop putting her on a godforsaken pedestal. Go and save your hero and be her hero. Like, Twilight, just hit her. Just hit her. You have the total right to. You're a freaking princess. Just hit her. But it's definitely character building for Rainbow Dash to realize that there are people out there, there are ponies out there that are slightly, maybe better at stuff than her, and that's what she's got to realize. She's realizing that. And that she even herself has a weakness, and that's overzealousism. She's just so energetic about things and can get her into a lot of trouble. Rainbow Dash eventually goes to save Daring after the conversation between Daring Do and Alizoro, which, again, guys, I'm going to reiterate. He says 8,000 years of heat, not 8,000 years of sun, not 8,000 years of the sun boiling everybody into the ground. No, 8,000 years of heat. Okay, we're just kind of getting this in our heads. 8,000 years of heat in one spot. It's weather, not sun. Thank you. So Rainbow swoops just in time before Daring falls into a big pond or cavern of piranha, and they go to remove all the rings from the Dark Tower. The rest of the main six is distracting all these henchmen and Alizoro, and it isn't till the very last giant-ass ring on the very bottom that Alizoro realizes that these two are trying to destroy everything that he's worked for. Well, they do. It's a great lesson for Rainbow to learn that not to forget who she is when she's around other ponies who she emulates. So she, it's a really good lesson. Also, it's the first time we meet the journal, which was established in Castlemania, that they would start writing a book of their own instead of sending letters to Princess Celestia. Very good idea. Well, that's all I have to say to this, and I really, really wanted to just get across to you guys that this episode was really good to me, and that's because I've had that chance to meet my favorite, a lot of people that I've admired in my life, and I've definitely gotten to do things that I probably would never have been able to do at one point, and to say that it took a little while. It took maybe 3 or 4 times meeting my heroes before I realized that they put their socks on one hoof at a time. Just like me. Really. And so, I guess that, they're just like every other pony. Why don't I just let it go? I'm very calm and cool collective around my heroes now. Even the new ones, I have to say, even if I was to meet them, I'd be very calm, cool, collected, and be like, let's go have a coffee, cup of tea, let's just sit and talk. It's just how the world is, I guess. Question to you guys. Have you met any of your heroes? How did you react? Did you do anything fun with them? Write in the comment section below, or even send me a video. I like watching, I like reading, and I like you. Have a very good day. Pony out.